Bob.
Did you, did you say? Oh,
Yeah. Well, you know what? I had my own internal monologue about my singing voice. We're
yeah.
not going to talk about it, but I had a thought about myself. So
hmm Well, this is the place to free yourself of that because we are no thoughts. Welcome, everybody, to the first episode in the first ongoing series of Ash and. My name is Ash, and today I'm gonna. Yeah. It's
it,
Keith.
it's Keith. It's me, guys. Hi, welcome. Just here to yap about comic books and games and all things nerdy. I'm very excited to be here.
Yes, we are going to be doing 4 episodes on 4 volumes of Die with a special guest episode at the end, our finale, our culmination, where Kieron Gillen will be here talking to us about Die. Not like, oh, Jesus.
Sorry, I was so excited. I'm so excited. Can't control it.
Kieron will be here talking to us about Die, about making it, about Die Loaded, and what comes next. So, with that said, we're going to make this kind of like as close as we can get it to a little bit of a D&D mechanic, right? We're going to throw some interesting stuff in there. You'll figure out what that is in a little bit. But for now, welcome to episode 1 of Ash and Keith.
Yes.
Read Die.
Woo! That's where like the cheering sound comes in. Put that in when you're editing. Just
if you're here and if you're listening, we are going to talk about the book. We're going to get into it and really get into it. So please expect spoilers. We're going to talk about specific scenes. It might not be everything that we spoil, but it might be something. So if you're dying to read this book and you don't want it to be spoiled, now is the time to cut it off, to go read and come back. But if you do, welcome. So,
right.
basic premise of the book. There are 6 kids who go to a birthday party and get transported.
In 1991, I think it's very important that we say that. This happens in 1991.
It does happen in 1991. So everyone's clothes are ugly. Then
whoa,
they go to a birthday party and they're playing D&D at a birthday party, which is, how old are they again? 16, 17? Is that 16?
Yeah. They're pretty young, between like 16 and 14. I think one of them is like a few years younger than the rest.
Yes. And then they get transported to a D&D world. And if you don't know what that is, that's fine. But think Jumanji, but worse.
Yeah, it's like just like Jumanji, they get this game, they get sucked into it, but instead of it just being like a deadly jungle, there's all types of like fantasy elements to it. So pretty much any novel or story or game that you've played that's been like some sort of sci-fi or fantasy elements to it, that's pretty much what existed in this world that they get sucked into. All these things: robots, elves, dragons, magic, you name it.
You name it! Look!
Yes. It's fucked up in there. It's very, very fucked up in there. And there's 6 of them. So there is, and I've written this down now, Ash, Izzy, Chuck, Sol, Angela, and Matt. It took me so long of reading this to realize there were 6 characters.
Well, I mean, the other thing about it is, like, the thing that really confused me was that we're introduced to Dominic.
Yeah.
And then when they are sucked into the world, Dominic, he becomes Ash, which is she in the world. So in my head, while you were like, 6 characters, in my head, there were 7, because I just kept forgetting that Dominic and Ash were the same person, but also at the same time not. So
yes. I think I got that on the second read, definitely. But yeah, for the first couple of pages, it spun me. I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, what happened to this other person? I'm like, oh, you are someone else here.
Yeah.
Someone completely different here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also that goes on the assumption that Kieron Gillen would not be extremely specific about the numbering. Because I got to like volume 3 and I was like, 6 sides like a dice.
6-sided dice.
I get it. Now I know why there were 6 of them. And then I was like, pedantry. I saw it and it was like 5. 20 issues for the 20-sided dice, and then
No,
six characters, and I was like, okay, all right. But there's a
I
lot of that.
there is like the fact that there are 20 issues in total, and it's a 20-sided die. And spoilers, the world is shaped like a 20-sided die. Like there's a lot of that going on.
It's geek power levels that I haven't seen in a very, very long time.
Yeah. But getting back to our story a
Yeah.
bit, these kids do get sucked into this world, and they are stuck in the world for 2 years, which again is also very important because we find out that 2 years has not only passed in the game but also in the real world. So when they return, there's like a lot of stuff that's happened to them that we don't know about. They're like traumatized, and for whatever reason, they don't have the ability to talk about it. And that's just basically we learned all that in like the first few pages of issue number one.
Yes,
So it's a lot going on already.
it is.
One of them's missing an arm. One of them doesn't come back. So when they return, we harped about like the number six, but there's only five of them that return instead of all six of them.
What did you think of like volume one? Because this is where we tip up into the story, basically. I think the premise was really, really quickly set, and it got me into it a lot. And typically, I'm not into like Dungeons and Dragons. Really wasn't my thing. That's why I wanted to do this with you, because you're such a Dungeons and Dragons mega fan.
I think I really loved issue one because it did capture a lot of that essence of like being a Dungeons and Dragons player and going to a game.
Yeah,
There are things that always come up, like you're not able to schedule the game at the right time because when you're trying to get six people to sit down and play one game, even as teenagers, like sometimes you have things going on. As adults, like obviously, like you have family and work, but even as kids, it's like the excitement of like getting together and getting back to this game and being able to pick like your class, like what you want to do. I think very early on, one of the characters, Angela, talked about she wants to be like a cyberpunk character, and they're like, oh yeah, we can do that. We can make you a cyberpunk character.
yeah.
It captured a lot of that, being able to have like the dice to roll, and it's like, oh, they all do different things. That was all really exciting. That was great because I'm really big in the tabletop RPGs. I love fantasy work, and being able to like create your own character or persona to put into this world, and then like live as them has always been very intriguing and interesting to me, and it's a lot of fun. So I think issue one did a great job of setting that up as players, but also you have to realize to them like this is real. Like when they get into that world, like that becomes their reality for them. So seeing the trauma that they experience later on, because when you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, like I've had crazy things happen to characters where like they've lost arms or like met really good friends, ended up dying. I don't necessarily have to take that trauma with me,
Mm.
but they did. And that was what made it like so serious and so heavy. And then also seeing them return to that world and seeing like the 20-sided shape of the world, like a decahedron, all of that stuff was just like, as a Dungeons and Dragons player, made me like, oh, like this is my shit. Like this was made for me. So I'm interested in what it was in the story that got you actually hooked, or why you were suddenly so interested, having not played Dungeons and Dragons at all.
It was the guy whose eyes were melting out.
Okay, yes, that shit made my jaw drop.
I think it's a good opening. I think more than that, Kieron obviously really loves D&D, and this is a world built with a lot of love also, but he's also a fucking good writer. So
Yeah,
that first issue, when they come back and you see the drama of it, and you know that traumatic things have happened, and then they can't talk about it, but then they go back again. I wanted to know, that's the bit that hooked me. I think it was the fact that this is their second trip there.
yeah,
Do you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Because yeah, you're like, what happened the first time? Like, there's a lot of shit that happened. Are we gonna get to that? Like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's a very good hook.
but and it's also like, and this is something that I felt reading it the whole time. It's a reflection on the difference between childhood and adulthood.
Mm.
Because I think had it just been about like kids going to a fantasy world, I probably would have been less interested in that, because we've got 1,000 of those stories. Every other
Yeah,
story is about kids going to a fantasy world. This is about like mid-40s people getting yeeted back to something that happened when they were teenagers, and it's like it's like the dread of a high school reunion
hmm
amplified by 6,000 times.
yeah. Wow, that's a great way of putting it, actually. Yeah,
Like it's not just a bunch of people, but like an entire world, and they ruled it. And so I personally probably wouldn't want to go back and revisit outfits that I created when I was 17. Let alone, if I've been influencing sociopolitics for an entire planet.
Yeah. Well, like let's talk about some of these characters though, because like in issue one, they do introduce everyone, right? So we have Dominic, who is Ash in the world of Die, Soul, Angela, Matt, Isabel, Chuck. They each play a role in this. Like when they came to this world initially, like they all had unique uh, classes or abilities to them. So Ash, we know, is the dictator who can control like people's emotions and thoughts with their abilities.
Yeah.
Angela, she gets her cyberpunk thing, like I mentioned before. She wants to be like someone that can like hack things and use like robots and machines. And then we have Matt, the emotion knight, Isabel, who is the godbinder who can make deals with gods for, their own personal gain. And then Chuck, who is like the fool who just gets better at doing things when when he has bad luck or when he thinks something bad is going to happen or when he's foolish. So they all have like these different abilities and these different roles, and it's very interesting to see that almost all of them are reluctant to return to them when they come back to this world.
What do you think you would be?
Oh, see, that's one of my questions. Actually, is that one of your like hard questions? Should we roll for this? Because I have a question similar to that I wanted to ask you.
All right. Here's a quick mechanic. So we have a couple reckless questions for each other. And in the spirit of D&D, we are going to roll to see which one of us has to answer those questions. Do I think that's one of my questions? No, I think that's really pedestrian.
Okay.
That's just like a regular question.
Well, I was going to ask,
if
you had to assign the two of us classes, what would they be and why?
That was my question. And you want to roll for that?
I want to, yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. Let's go.
All right. I'm gonna roll.
Wait, closer. Hold on, I can't see.
Did it roll? There we go. 17.
Okay, 17. Oh, hold on.
Then you gotta swipe it. Nope.
Please, wait.
There you go. Fuck.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. If I was to find the two of us classes, what would they be and why? Well, shit. This is so hard. Okay, I would assign myself. I think I would assign myself the Godbinder role.
Okay, why?
Because I'm a very extroverted person, and I feel like when it comes to like talking to people who are just like all different or represent different things or understand different things, I feel like I have a way of understanding where they're coming from, which makes it easier for me to talk and negotiate with them.
Yeah.
So I think I would be pretty good at that role. For you, I think I would probably go with. I think I would probably go with the Emotion Knight, just because I feel like you have a way of like channeling your emotions in a certain way to become very like useful or productive. I don't think I necessarily have that. Sometimes I get very overwhelmed by my emotions, or I feel like I try and avoid certain emotions. So I think I would pass you the Emotion Knight. I don't think I would give you something like the Dictator, just because I feel like that's such a slippery slope for anyone, and I just would never want to put someone in that position unless I absolutely had to.
That's true. I'd be terrible at it. And I mean, you're so right, because as we get into like volume 5, there's some things that I'll say about what happens with Matt that I may be over identified with a little bit. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, me too, probably. Okay, so we know what their powers are, and they go back into this world and they start seeing like the evidence of the things that they fucked up, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When they go back into Die and they start traveling around, what bits of the world or the impact that they've had on it are most memorable for you in those first
I think it's mostly that, just the fact that it's like this world has persisted even while you were gone, and the things that you did or that you said, they made a difference. Like they have affected this world. Seeing like how Ash is affected by the things that she is able to do, like when they first return to the world and like they haven't been able to talk about what happened there, like it's because of Ash's power, and Ash like kind of almost reluctantly like being reluctant to use her power because she understands like how terrifying it is and how like the others are also like terrified of her power. I think that's probably one of the big things for me. and just the fact that like that ends up opening old wounds where there are certain places they're like, we just don't even want to go here anymore because of what we did and what we said.
Okay.
I think it's kind of the some of the trappings of youth that you mentioned before about like going here back as an adult and seeing like what you did as a kid and like the decisions that you made, terrifying, and also just like exciting for us as readers because that gives us more drama and that gives us more fuel to like feed us on the excitement of this world and also the tragedy that these characters have faced. Like everyone loves a car accident, or like everyone looks when there's a car accident, and this is very
I'll
much
just breeze
like a
past that.
pileup.
Sorry, this is a very long sentence, and you don't just get to slip. Everyone loves a car accident in the middle of it.
That's not what I meant. When there's a car accident, everyone's like looking and they're peeking. They're like, oh, like what's going on? Like this is kind of like that, where it's like, oh, these 6 individuals ended up like crashing their cars and getting into a pileup and causing all of this destruction and this like disarray. And like, of course, like we as readers are like, oh, how did this happen? How did you get there? How are you gonna get out of this one?
Yeah, that is very true. Kieron does. I think I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Kieron does write an amazing, like messy group chat, like 6 people who have to stick together. And even in this, the demons aren't even the most scary things. And he's like, yeah. Getting thrown into a hell dimension is terrible, but like, what if you disagreed with your friends, though?
Yes, those internal demons.
Yeah. What if that
Yeah.
girl that you didn't like from high school was in your business for 3.5 days and knew
No, it's the interpersonal drama that really makes it compelling. Because you do find that like at the beginning of this story, like volume 1, some of these people like especially Ash is like, oh, I really don't like this person. We've had beef since then.
Yeah.
But then once they get into this world, all those dynamics start to change and like fluctuate to the point where it's like, hey, like I know that I was about like not killing anybody in this world, but now it's like I have to do that in order to survive. Or I know I'd never wanted to return to the city, but because of the way things have unfolded and changed here, we have to do that. So like that's one of those things I was just like, oh my gosh, no, like you guys get back to your own world and then resolve this. Get back to where it's safer. But again, like all these people have their own motivations and their ideas that it just ends up one like drawing the story out, which hey, great for me. Like let me read 15 more issues of this. I would love to. But also just like as a person who's imagining myself in this situation, I'm like, this is the worst possible idea. This is the worst possible thing you guys could have done.
All right, so roll. I'm gonna roll.
All right.
Cool. Let's do it. The question is, you're a dictator for a day. What happens?
Ooh. Okay, we're gonna roll for this.
Yeah. We are. All right.
Oh, I got a 2. Please roll a 1. No. All right, reroll.
Okay. All right. Wait. Go.
I got a 3. Oh,
yes.
no.
All right. Go on.
I'm a dictator for a day. This is so tough because like I'm not like a bossy person.
To it.
If anything, I would probably
we can't do 7 minutes of you doing the emotional wrangling of it.
I know.
Go for it. What happens?
I'm probably getting like free food or something. Like I'm probably going to like my favorite restaurant and like I'm getting a free meal. Like, hey, seat me where I want to be seated. Bring me this, and I would probably like pamper myself. But I don't think I would do anything like that would intentionally like harm anybody or anything like that, or like make them do anything like really strongly against like their will. I don't think I could do that.
Okay.
But I probably would have a really nice day for myself. Like I probably would be pampered. Like, hey, like I really want this seat. I want that seat. I'm gonna take it. You can go sit over there. Or, oh, what do you mean? That's like the last, I don't know, steak or whatever the fuck it might be. I'm like, you want to give that to me? Like you want to give that to me, and then I would have it. But yeah, I wouldn't harm anyone. I wouldn't go around being like a maniac.
Okay. All right. Cool. Thank you.
I really wish I heard your answer instead, though.
Well, roll better.
But sometimes the dice are not in your favor, unfortunately. The woes of D&D.
Overall, closing thoughts for that. Dive Volume 1 takes us. It dives us right into like this midlife retread of big trauma with people who cause that trauma. You know that thing where like you can't heal You can't heal in the same situations in which you got hurt.
Yeah.
This is like the opposite of that. Like this is going back to all the situations that hurt you the worst.
Yeah.
And it is I think it's a really, really, it trapped me. And then, just so we close up this episode knowing where we land, everyone's gone and met the receipts of all their past mistakes, and they've started to reopen old wounds with each other. But nothing's really moved yet. This first volume is basically about introducing us to the world and seeing what Dai is like and some of the players in there. So you've got your different factions, your little governments, they all sit in different places. But a big hook then at the end of volume 1 is that plot twist, Ash. The group is the antagonist. That's it. I knew, when Sol shows up. So Sol is the guy that gets trapped, right?
Yeah.
And
he's the game master. He has the most power in this world.
Yeah. But when he shows up and he's meant to be the big bad, I knew it wasn't really about him. Because you can't pull that lever too quick. Sol just shows up and starts doing exposition. I was like, you're not the real enemy. It's you motherfuckers. It's all you other motherfuckers. That's what it is. The real issue is your friends.
They're literally each other's own worst enemies. It's like they get sucked back into Die together, and it drags them back into the same drama and the same fantasy world that they barely escaped the first time. Yeah. And the fact that they barely escaped the first time definitely means they're in some hot shit now that they're back.
Hot shit.
And literally,
hot shit. Now there's some hot shit,
hot shit. That they're back, because especially considering the fact that at the end of issue 5, Ash kills Sol. Ash has to kill Sol in order for them to come to an agreement, and that is what sends everyone spiraling and splits up the party, making way for issues 6 and onward.
Yes, because then we learn that the Fallen, who are monsters that no one really cares about, that everybody kills for gold that lives in their chest, are actually humans that have been there before. And also that this whole thing is kind of just based on a toxic queer crush that became everybody's problem.
Kind of, a little bit, yeah.
Look, X-Men is everywhere for those with eyes to see. But that takes us to the end of volume 1, right?
We are introduced to our characters. We're stuck back into our world. We kind of know some of the stakes.
Yeah.
And it's a race to get the party back together and see if they can make it back home.
All right. Well, thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed this first episode of us kind of careening through Die. We'll see you in episode 2, which is volume 2. This has been Ash and
Keith. I had to sing. I was told that that's how we had to close out the episode. So,
Khalid, don't listen to Khalid. Just don't listen to Khalid.
I love Khalid.
Yeah, I know, but this is going to make him terrible.
We'll see. We'll see if I keep it up for the rest of the series.
Yeah, if he can actually brainwash all the rest of you into singing for the rest, he wins.
That might not be so bad.
True. All right. Peace. Bye.
Bye.